A room locked from the inside. A window left unlocked. A necklace scattered on the floor. Dried blood on a pillowcase. And a 19-year-old student vanished without a trace from the one place she thought was safest, her own apartment. No one suspected the killer wasn't a stranger. He was the one with keys to every room. He was the one she saw every day. And he turned an ordinary afternoon into an eternal nightmare. Would the police have time to save her? Or would the truth only emerge when it was already too late? Welcome to the Case Files, where we unveil the shocking cases, bringing you to the haunting truth behind every crime. Today, we're diving deep into a case that shook Orlando, Florida in 2021, a tragedy that not only left unbearable pain for the victim's family, but also changed the entire legal system protecting renters in America. In this episode, we're taking a deep dive into the infamous case of the Miya Marcano case, when a master key became a murder weapon. Part 1. The Angel and Her Orlando Dream. Miya Marcano, the girl with a heart of gold. Miya Marcano, 19 years old, wasn't just a student at Valencia College. She was the heart of her entire family. She moved from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando to pursue her dream of education, with a passion for psychology, particularly criminal psychology. What made Miya different wasn't her beautiful appearance or radiant smile, but her compassionate heart. From a young age, Miya had always been empathetic, ready to help and encourage others through difficult times. She deeply believed that if psychological issues were detected and addressed early, many serious crimes could be prevented. Tragically, it was this very belief, this faith in the goodness of people, that couldn't save her from someone she encountered every day. An unbreakable family bond. Despite being away from home, Miya never stopped staying in touch with her family. Every morning she texted her mother, Miya Marcano. She chatted with her younger brother Malon, sharing every little moment of her day with her cousin Kai. For Miya, family was everything. And for them, a day without hearing from Miya was a day filled with worry. On the morning of September 24, 2021, Miya called her mother with a voice full of excitement. "Mom, I'm famous now." A dance video she posted had just gotten over 1,000 likes. She also chatted all day with her cousin Kai, eagerly looking forward to the weekend when she'd fly home to visit her father and relatives. Miya had booked a flight departing at 8:50 p.m. that evening, but that flight, Miya would never board. Part 2. The Fateful Day, September 24, 2021. The Vanishing Afternoon. Miya worked part-time at the management office of Arden Villas Apartments, the very complex where she lived. Her shift ended at 5 p.m., but from that moment on, all communication with her suddenly stopped. 5:30 p.m., her brother Malin texted, no response. He thought her phone died. 8:61 p.m., still nothing. Malin started worrying, called their mother. 6:45 p.m., Mother Wyma tried to reach her. Maya's phone couldn't connect. She called Kai. The GPS app reported, "Location not found. Phone is off." That's when they knew. Something had happened. The flight without a passenger. Wyma contacted taxi companies, the airport, her daughter's friends. No one knew where Miya was. Still, the family went to the airport with fragile hope. Maybe Miya had boarded the plane, just having phone trouble. But when all passengers deplaned, there was no Miya. Now, everyone truly panicked. Kai posted a search message on social media with Maya's photo and detailed information. Wyma called police to report her daughter missing at 11:02 p.m. on 9/24/2021. Just 20 minutes later, police arrived at Maya's apartment. Part 3. The Mysterious Scene. A room locked from within. Initial inspection. Suspicious signs. At 11:22 p.m. on September 24, 2021, Deputy Sheriff Samir Paulino arrived at Maya's apartment. He knocked. No answer. Walking around the apartment, looking through windows, everything seemed normal. With help from a neighbor to open the door, police entered. Living room, kitchen, all fine. But Mia's bedroom door was locked tight. Something wasn't right. The neighbor mentioned Miya sometimes locked her bedroom door, but the officer still felt uneasy. He returned to the bedroom window. The window wasn't locked. Strange, very strange. Because according to Mia's mother, her father had installed protective locks on all windows, and Miya never left windows open. The officer asked the neighbor to climb through the window into the room. When the lights came on, the neighbor gasped. A small shelf was pushed against the door handle from inside, as if someone deliberately blocked the door. When the door opened for police to enter, alarming signs gradually revealed themselves. The necklace Miya always wore was scattered on the floor. A rusty letter opener, not belonging to Miya, lay under the carpet. A small, dried bloodstain on a pillowcase. The stuffed bear Miya always carried was left behind in the closet. And most frightening of all, the window security bars that Maya's father had installed were missing. Had there been a struggle in this room? Who blocked the door from inside? And how did that person escape? That person. The police's controversial decision. However, the family later accused Deputy Paulino of not treating this as a crime scene, despite having sufficient evidence. He didn't inform superiors about the blood on the pillow, broken jewelry, or the strange knife. He also didn't request a search of the potential suspect's vehicle. At 1:36 a.m. on September 25, 2021, the Orange County Sheriff officially announced Miya Marcano, 19 years old, is missing. Part 4. The family investigates a terrifying discovery. When police weren't fast enough, the family had to act. After 4 a.m. on 9/25, over a dozen of Maya's relatives drove from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando. When Kai entered Maya's room, she immediately noticed. The room wasn't like before. Maya was extremely tidy, always keeping everything in its place. But now the room was messy, with stains on the carpet. Mia's father entered and discovered something that chilled him. The window security bars he'd installed were gone. The entire family understood immediately. Miya was in real danger. They didn't touch anything, treating this as a crime scene. And they decided, if police weren't fast enough, they would investigate themselves. The clue from the electronic lock system. While Mia's family searched for information, police also made a breakthrough. From the electronic lock system at Arden Villa's apartments, they discovered. At 4:36 p.m. on September 24, 2021, that is, 24 minutes before Miya came home, someone had entered her apartment using a master key fob for maintenance personnel. That person was Armando Manuel Caballero, 27 years old, a maintenance worker at Arden Villas. The only suspect, someone rejected. Caballero was someone Miya had complained about multiple times for harassment. He had expressed romantic interest in her, but Miya rejected him. Investigation revealed Caballero couldn't accept that rejection. He had a history of violence, prior arrests for harassing women, but the apartment complex still hired him without thorough background checks. Police believed Caballero had hidden in the apartment waiting for Miya to return. When she entered and saw him, she was terrified. There was a struggle. And then, Miya disappeared. Police issued an arrest warrant for Caballero on burglary charges, but when they arrived at his apartment, he was no longer there. Part 5. The manhunt and the suspect's death. The family becomes amateur detectives. While police issued an alert, Mia's family didn't sit idle. They investigated Caballero's background themselves, discovering his history of violence. They followed him. On the evening of 9/25, 4 members of Mia's family tailed Caballero to his apartment. They observed him taking items from his car, including blue rubber, gloves, a dark backpack, a pink blanket, a screwdriver, an unfamiliar phone case. A family member requested police search Caballero's apartment immediately, but the search found nothing of value. Caballero was questioned by investigators twice after Miya went missing. He insisted he and Miya were just friends, and said he understood the family was accusing him of excessive attention toward her. Morning of September 27, 2021. A chilling discovery. Thanks to the manhunt spreading through media on the morning of 9/27, a group of workers at another building in Seminole County, where Caballero had previously worked, called police reporting they couldn't open a storage unit locked from inside. When police broke in, they found the body of Armando Caballero. He had committed suicide by gunshot. No suicide note, no confession, no clues about Miya. Caballero had taken all secrets to his grave. Part 6. Finding Miya, the tear-stained truth. GPS data, the final clue. For Miya's family, Caballero's death confirmed their worst fear. Miya was dead. But where was she? Police collected GPS data from Caballero's cell phone from the night Miya disappeared. The data showed, between 8:01 p.m. and 9:01 p.m. on September 24th, he had been in or near the Timberscan apartment complex, a vacant area about 30 kilometers, 18 miles, from Miya's home. This was also where Caballero had previously lived. On the morning of October 2nd, 2021, at 10:45 a.m., search teams discovered a body in the wooded area at Timberscan. It was Miya. The scene where the body was found. Miya was found, wearing jeans, underwear, and a robe. Mouth covered with black duct tape. Hands bound behind her back with black duct tape. Feet bound with black duct tape. Her purse lay nearby, containing the shirt she wore last, and the blood-stained pillowcase from the apartment Sheriff John Mina announced. Miya was found with her hands and feet bound with black duct tape. Her mouth was also covered with duct tape. Autopsy results. On December 28, 2021, the Orange County Medical Examiner's Office released official results. Cause of death: homicide by undetermined means. When found, Miya's body was nearly completely skeletal in the face, neck, torso, and upper arm areas. This prevented forensic experts from determining the exact cause of death, whether by suffocation, strangulation, or poisoning. However, there were no signs of sexual assault, no obvious trauma on the bones. But the fact she was bound tightly, gagged, and dumped in a desolate location clearly showed this was a premeditated killing. Forensic expert Joshua D. Stephanie concluded, the manner in which she was found, with multiple restraints and in an abandoned area, indicates some form of attack. Waim, Part 7. Incomplete justice. Lawsuits and new laws. Lawsuit against Arden Villas. On October 20, 2021, Miya's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Arden Villas apartment complex and its management company, Price Company. The lawsuit alleged the complex didn't conduct background checks on Caballero before hiring. Caballero had a history of violence, record of harassing women, but was still given master key access. No oversight procedures for employee apartment access. No key usage log. Miya had complained about Caballero, but wasn't protected. Family attorney Daryl K. Washington declared, Arden Villas gave Armando Caballero the unrestricted access he needed to kill Miya. They need to be held accountable for their negligence. The lawsuit was settled out of court in August 2023 for an undisclosed sum. Lawsuit against the Sheriff's Office. On September 25, 2023, Miya's family filed another lawsuit against the Orange County Sheriff's Office and two deputies, Samir Polino and Dale, alleging negligence and civil rights violations. The lawsuit pointed out, Deputy Polino didn't treat the apartment as a crime scene. Despite clear signs, Polino didn't inform superiors about blood on the pillow, strange knife, broken jewelry. Paulino didn't request a search of Caballero's vehicle from the start. The next day, security guard Jacoby Coleman tried to hand over fingerprints from the scene to Paulino, but the officer dismissed him with a smile and told Coleman to keep the evidence himself. Police had enough information to save Miya or find her sooner, but didn't act in time. In 2022, both deputies were disciplined. Paulino, 150-day unpaid suspension for unsatisfactory performance. Dale, 10-day unpaid suspension. Miya's Law, an Angel's Legacy. On June 30, 2022, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed Senate Bill 898, known as Miya's Law. This law mandates mandatory background checks for all maintenance personnel at apartment complexes, ban on hiring individuals with criminal records related to sexual violence or stalking, detailed log required for issuing, returning, and storing all Keys employees must give 24-hour notice before entering tenant apartments, previously only 12 hours. Miya's Law isn't just a legal document. It's the legacy of a 19-year-old girl who lost her life because the system failed to protect her. Miya Marcano, more than just a victim. Miya Marcano's story doesn't end with her death. It begins with a fight. The fight of a family that refused to stay silent, of a mother determined to turn pain into hope, of a society recognizing that personal safety cannot rely on luck alone. Miya believed that timely intervention in psychological issues could prevent crimes. But tragically, she became the victim of someone the system didn't stop in time. Time of ones. The Miya Marcano case revealed serious gaps. In personnel management, when someone with a history of violence is still given access to young women's private apartments. In investigative work, when police don't recognize signs of crime from the beginning in social awareness, when stalking and harassment behaviors are downplayed until it's too late. If you or your loved ones live in apartment complexes, ask, does the complex conduct employee background checks? Require, employees must notify before entering your unit. Speak up. If harassed, don't stay silent. Report to police. Document evidence. Trust your instincts. If you feel unsafe, that's a signal to act immediately. Words from the mother. Miya Marcano. People often ask me how I survive. I answer, I don't know. I have no choice. They say time heals, but not for me. Miya is everywhere, in the air I breathe, in my heart forever. That day, the 19-year-old girl left work, eagerly waiting for her flight home, waiting to see her father, family, friends. But Miya never made it. Her phone went silent forever. The flight took off in despair. But her name, Miya, won't sink into oblivion. It lives on in law, in people's hearts, in the hope that no other girl will suffer a tragic fate because of lax security systems. Miya's Law is the flame. Miya's Law is the reminder. Miya's Law is the legacy of a 19-year-old angel. Thank you for watching the Case Files. If you find this story meaningful, please share it so more people will know. Subscribe to the channel, hit like, and leave your thoughts below. Because behind every crime, there's a truth waiting to be uncovered. And behind every victim, there's a lesson we must never forget. Justice for Miya. Remember her name.